So picture this, you're walking one day down the streets of Tokyo, Japan, and you decide to step into the bank to open a bank account or maybe do some other kind of paperwork. And after you've filled in all the necessary documents and you've answered all the questions they've asked, they look at it and they tell you, yep, everything seems to be in order, now please just leave your seal right here. And you say to yourself, oh my god, my seal, I think I've left it back home, but I have a pen, I'm sure I can just sign with a pen, would that be okay? And they look at you very calmly and they say, yeah, no, we're going to need your seal, please. And so with your tail between your legs, you leave the bank without having accomplished anything. Now, if you live in Japan and you've experienced something like this, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you've never experienced something like this, then I hope this video will help you to not have to experience that in the future either. So having said that, let's learn about Japanese Inkan. Now, as a general rule, everyone in Japan has their own Inkan. Some people call it Inkan, some people call it Hanko, but in essence, they're the same thing. It's just a personal seal with your name that you use to sign legal documents. Now, the problem comes from understanding that there's not just one type of Inkan, but there are actually multiple, and they each have a different purpose. Now, today we're going to cover most of them, but first of all, you should know that Inkan are separated into two categories: the personal use Inkan and the business use Inkan. And as we go up the list, we also start seeing Inkan that carry more and more legal power. So let's start from the most basic type. This little boy that we have right here is our level 1, just the normal Inkan, or gomuin as many people call it, because it's actually made of rubber, and the Japanese word for rubber is gomu. So if you open it, I'm not sure if you can see it very well in the video, but the tip is actually made of rubber, and that's because you can just simply take it off and then stamp it on a piece of paper very quickly. These Inkan tend to be very cheap. You can buy them in most convenience stores or different kinds of shops for maybe 100 to 300 yen. That's about $2 American, and so they're very cheap and they're manufactured. So if you lose it, if you break it, if you misplace it, you can just go ahead and buy a new one. These ones, they carry the least amount of legal power. In fact, they carry no legal power at all. You cannot go to the bank with this, and you mostly are going to use it to sign off for your post when it comes home, or your Amazon packages and things like that. And so if you go to the bank to try to open your bank account with this, they're most likely going to send you back home. And so we move right along the list now to level 2, your actual official legal Inkan. And that's this one right here. Some of them are made of different materials. This one, for example, is made of ebony, but there are others like this one that's actually made of buffalo horn, and others can also be made of precious stones like jade and things like that. The reason for this is because these ones actually carry some level of legal power. And for you as a private person, as an individual who maybe doesn't own a business, this is going to be your strongest Inkan. This is the one you're going to use to sign off any legal documents at the bank, at the town office, when you go to sign your family registry and things like this. That's the one that carries your official legal power. And so most people just carry it with them on a little case like this one, because when you open it, you have a little pad of ink that you can use just to dab your Inkan in it and then stamp your legal documents. This is the ideal one to take with you to the bank. And as I mentioned earlier, these are basically the two main types of Inkan that you're going to need if you're just a private person. So now we move from level 3 onwards to the business side of things, because if you're a business owner in Japan, or if you have your own company in this country, you're not going to need 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, but actually 5 Inkan. And so from now on, let's learn about them. Level 3, we have this big boy right here. This is called a ginko-in. Now remember, from now on, all these Inkan involve only your company. So your ginko-in, actually its purpose is in its own name, because the Japanese word for bank is ginko. And so this ginko-in is the seal that you're going to use for any exchanges between your company and the banks. Any bank statements, any bank contracts, loan applications, legal documents of any kind that are related to your bank and to your bank accounts and to your finances, you're going to sign them off with your ginko-in. Now, if you look at the design of your ginko-in, you'll see that it's actually a lot more detailed and complicated than the other seals that we've seen so far, because it's actually made of multiple parts. If you look very carefully, you see that on the outer ring, you have the name of your company, and on the inside, you have a mark that basically serves as the signature of the head of the company, the CEO in this case. So any document that's signed with this Inkan basically carries the signature of the CEO. Now we move on to level 4, our next Inkan. We have this little square boy right here. And I'll talk about the shape in a second, but first let me tell you what it does. This is called a mitomein. A mitomein is actually, once again, used for your company to sign basically any minor documents that you might have. Like for example, receipts or invoices that your company transfers to its customers and so on. It's basically just a stamp to certify that your company has acknowledged this document. Now, if you look at it very carefully, you'll see that it doesn't carry the CEO mark in it, and that's because this is for minor legal documents that don't necessarily need a stamp of the CEO. And you can use it as well to sign off your company's Amazon packages and things like that. You could use it as well for your own personal packages, but like I said before, that's a bit of an overkill, so I would suggest not doing that. And now we move on to level 5, the last level of our Inkan, and we have this unassuming boy right here. This is called a jitsuin. Jitsuin, believe it or not, it's going to be quite likely the most powerful stamp you're going to have in your company, because this is quite literally the signature of the CEO itself. This is what you're going to use to sign off any contracts and any other documents of that sort. And like I said before, you could use it to sign for the other things, but I would very strongly suggest against that, because you see, the main reason why we keep them separated by purpose is for the sake of security. Imagine that one day you lose or misplace your jitsuin, the most powerful Inkan of all, and on the off chance that someone finds it and starts signing documents on your behalf, they will still not be able to access your bank accounts. So if you start using your jitsuin for the other things might start to get a little bit more complicated in terms of security. So generally, it's a good idea to keep them separate and use them for their very well-defined purposes. If you'd like to learn more about that, I'm going to leave some links down in the description that you can check right after you watch this video. And so there you have it. This is a quick guide on how to use your seals properly, whether you're a private person or a business owner in Japan. And if you'd like to learn more, just make sure to watch this video right here. And in the meantime, take care, and I'll see you next time.